All right, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining today's SkySlope training for agents. I just want to remind you all that today's training will be recorded, and for the best listening quality during our video, I will be placing you all on mute. There will be the opportunity to ask questions throughout the training, so please feel free to submit those within the questions feature or window. If we don't get to all of those during our time today, we will be sure to send you an answer via email. So before we get started, I do just want to make sure everyone can hear me all right and that you can see my screen. So if you can go ahead and enter in yes to the sound check and the questions feature, that would be great. Can anyone hear me? Perfect. I got a yes. Hopefully that's everyone. All right. So let's get started. Before we dive in, I would like to formally introduce myself and give a face to the voice. My name is Stephanie Stavrianidakis, and I am a customer success manager here at SkySlope. As some of you may have noticed, my last name is very long and is very Greek. I am half Greek, but also half Mexican, so huge families on both sides, and great food. A little bit more about me. I've been in Sacramento for 10 years, and I really do try and take advantage of the Sacramento outdoors. We have great hiking trails up here. And lastly, I am horrible between meals. Snacks are my go-to to keep me energized throughout the day and help me stay focused on what really matters, and that's you, our SkySlope users. So our support team is a great example of how SkySlope really values and goes above and beyond for our users. Our support team is truly the best. They're available 24/7. That's every holiday, every weekend, truly 365 days to answer any and all of your questions. So we're so confident in our support team. We guarantee they'll answer your call by the second ring, respond to your chat within 10 seconds, and email you back within 20 minutes. Otherwise, we'll send you a Starbucks gift card. So simple as that. If we don't meet our guarantee, coffee's on us. So we understand how important support is, especially with new technology. And we understand as an agent, you aren't working a standard 9 to 5, which is why we've always offered 24/7 support. So I just like to note here, none of our competitors are offering that level of commitment to your success. So really take advantage of our support team. They are tech experts and a great tool for you guys to utilize. So the reason we have such a strong in-house support system is greatly due to the current realty process shown here and where we came from as a company. So to give you a little background, Tyler Smith, our CEO, was a 30 under 30 top producing agent here in Sacramento. He was closing over 300 deals a year and moving quicker than any realty platform available, thus prompting him to create his own. So we really pride ourselves on SkySlope being created by an agent for agents. And that's why Tyler knew offering a paperless platform partnered with 24/7 support would be crucial for both agents and brokers to be successful. So again, taking a look at this screen at the current realty process, you'll see some familiar items. Overall, pretty disorganized with no clear structure. And so what SkySlope does is streamline everything within your process. We aren't changing your process, just allowing all of the tools to be brought together on one platform, easily accessible from any device, whether mobile or PC. So nice and easy to use, making you more efficient, more compliant, which is great, and most importantly, making it that much easier to close deals and get paid. So within our training structure, we are going to focus on 3 simple steps, and I will be showing you the other features within the platform as well. For the 3 steps, we're looking at essentially the basics of your job. So what we need you to be able to do in SkySlope is search and verify property data, confirm contacts, and turn in documents. So as an agent, once these things are done, it is in the hands of the admin to review those files and let you know what's missing or if you're all good and approved. So these are the 3 things we are going to focus on in today's training. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the account. So this is SkySlope. This is my demo account, so yours will look a little different. Up here in the top left corner where it says SkySlope, this will have your logo or the brokerage name, and then throughout the platform, you'll have a customized color scheme to match. So this is all going to be branded to you. Clicking on your logo will always bring you back to this home screen. It'll bring you back to your main dashboard items here. And another great button, probably one of the most important within this screen, is going to be this little guy with the headset. This is how you can reach our amazing support team. So I do want to show you guys what that looks like as well. So single click takes you right into the support center. This big blue button allows you to start a chat, an email, or give our tech support team a call. We do have this cute little feature down here saying you could also order a pizza through our support team because it has actually happened. We had an agent running late for an open house. She panicked, called our support team, asked them if they'd be willing to order the pizza, send it to the property, and they did. So by the time she got there, pizza delivery was there as well. So it really worked out great for her. So we do have that cute little feature on there because they really do go above and beyond for you guys. So if you didn't have a specific question to ask them, and you needed more of a refresher on how to navigate the platform, you can always jump right in here into SkySlope tutorials. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. So these are videos, or great tools to familiarize with SkySlope in smaller doses rather than having to sit through a 30 to 40 minute training with me. You could just come in here, brush up on how to create a listing, how to create a transaction, whatever it is, there is a video in here that will show you an animated step-by-step process. And again, if you're still having trouble, don't hesitate to reach out to our support team. Again, they're here 24/7, which is amazing. So let's go back into the account. So to start, we're going to focus again on your 3 steps, which are searching and verifying property data, confirming contacts, and turning in documents. So to start, let's create a listing. So in our scenario here, I am an agent, and one of my closest friends, Tom, loves working with me, so he likes to send me all of his properties. So we're going to go ahead and start by creating a listing right here on our dashboard. And by selecting that, we will be introduced to Sky. So Sky is rolling out to all accounts started this week. So you will be seeing Sky within your account. She is our new virtual assistant. She's going to help guide us through each stage of the listing process. So first things first, we're going to enter in Tom's property information. So you can always enter that in the property address right here, or you can always switch it to manual entry. You'll just enter in the street address. This is a demo account, so I'll be using a demo address here. You can see it'll populate that once you put in the zip code as well. So we can move on to our next step. And so here we're choosing which property type we're working with. So this area will be customized with a checklist provided by your brokerage. So if your brokerage only ever deals with residential, then that one option will be listed here. If they only deal with lot, land, and commercial, then those would be your only 2 options available for selection. So again, this is a demo account. It may look familiar or it may look a little different from within your own. So for Tom's property, we're going to go ahead and just select resale. Move on to our next question. Here we're entering in our sale amount. We'll move on. Here you're able to put in the commission split. So you can always do this as a percentage split, or I always like to point out down here, you can also choose a flat rate as well. So here we're entering in our listing and expiration date. We're going to list this next Wednesday and expires the end of May. So here we're able to enter in our seller's information. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Tom's contact. On this screen, you also have the ability to add in additional sellers. Simply selecting this, you can add in Tom's wife if she wanted to be included in this. It is optional. So again, you can add an additional seller on here if needed. So next question. So here, this is a new feature within SkySlope. For my fellow Californians, you will now have the ability to order NHDs right here within SkySlope. Again, this feature is only available in California for now. Otherwise, you won't see this within your account. Because this is a demo, I'm not going to order this. I'm just going to let Sky know, no thanks. And there we are. We're done with our listing process. Very easy steps thanks to Sky. Now we can move on and verify which documents are required for this listing by going right into the checklist. So now we've gone through steps 1 and 2, our listing information and our contacts. Now we're moving on to step 3. We're looking at our checklist, and this is where this will be any documents your brokerage again requires from you dependent on which property type you're working with. So your required documents will be noted in red, and anything else listed here will be if applicable. So you can see here a lead paint disclosure. Depending on the year this home was built, you may want to include that. But again, you only have to utilize these if they apply to the specific property type that you are working on. So how do we get the documents into the checklist itself. There are a few ways we can do this. You can attach from the desktop, of course, but the quickest way is by utilizing this email address here. So you can see the email address is composed of the property address here, 458 SkySlope Demo. You can see that at skyslope.com. So what we're going to utilize this unique email address to do is we're going to go into my personal email. We have Tom's email to me with his listing packet. He may look familiar to some of you guys. So he sent in his listing packet. We're just going to go ahead. We're going to copy that first. We're going to go ahead and forward in this entire email interaction with the attachment to that email address for that property file. And so what that does is bring in the interaction and the attachment right into SkySlope, right into this specific property file. So anytime you create a new listing, you'll have a new email address that's unique to the property file that you can bring in documentation for. So that's always great. That documentation will then go into the Documents tab. So we'll go ahead and check that out. So you can see there, we have our listing packet available right here within the same property file. So what do we do now? How do we break the file apart? Because right now we're looking at a full 18-page document. We don't want to apply all 18 pages to each of our required fields. So what we want to utilize is this split tool. So what this allows us to do is break apart sections of the document and assign them to our required items. No need to waste time printing and scanning in each section anymore, because SkySlope will allow you to do all of these functions digitally right here. So here we see our full 18 pages. It's a little hard to read the font, so we'll go ahead and zoom in. You do have those capabilities. And so we know we have our listing agreement that we need to apply documentation to. So it starts listing agreement. We'll use these arrows to scroll through and find the page range for our listing agreement. So scrolling through. Okay, so we can see that'll end on page 8. So we'll enter that information. Agency agreement starts on page 9. We'll find our page range for the agency agreement as well. So we see that ends on page 11. Seller advisory on page 12. Looks like it's just a one-pager, so we won't need this bottom line. So we've highlighted which page ranges we want. Now all we have to do is use this split and assign feature. And it'll let us know that it's already been assigned to those checklist items by the way we've separated them here. So just to recap, what we just did with the split and assign tool was digitally separate our listing packet to grab only the pages that pertain to our required items. So very, very simple process that, again, you're able to do all digitally right here. So we'll go ahead and go back to our checklist. So as you can see, our previously red required items are now in yellow and in review, showing the successful allocation of those documents. And so what we as agents do now is wait for these files to be reviewed by our admin. So the ultimate goal here is to eliminate having to stop what you're doing, to go into the office and leave documents on your admin's desk for approval. Instead, SkySlope automatically notifies your admin that these documents are now in need of review. And that's it. That completes step 3. So again, we've covered searching and verifying our property data, getting our contact info, and submitting our documents. So next, I do want to show you other features, some more SkySlope tips and tricks from right here within the checklist. So let's say you're working on a newer version of one of these documents that you've just submitted. You can utilize this comments box as an interactive communication tool between you and the reviewer. So you can think of this comment section as a digital sticky note. Your reviewer will see your comment when they're reviewing the documents and know that you're still working on this. So you could just let them know, still working on newer version. And then you just save that. So they see that on their end and know, hey, I don't need to accept or reject this document yet. It's still in progress, even though you've already submitted documentation to it. So again, just an interactive communication tool to keep everyone on the same page. And this eliminates you, again, having to go into the office or sending a text or leaving a voicemail to update your admin. You can do that all right here within the comments feature. So once the checklist has been reviewed, you will receive an email notification that'll look a little something like this right here. You'll get an email notification just like this. If you happen to have the app, what's really great is you can also get a push notification of your reviewed files as well. So whatever works best for you and your workflow, you get access to those reviewed files right here. So you can see in the subject line the specific property. You have your checklist items and then the status of your checklist items. So which one have been approved, they'll show completed. You can see one of these has been marked as incomplete. Your reviewer has utilized that same comment section and given you feedback, letting you know that you're missing an initial on page 2. And that's really great. Instead of just marking it as incomplete and you have to scroll through that documentation to know exactly what you need to work on and revise, they can leave you that feedback right here. And by sending via digital signature, DigiSign, you can make that correction from this screen. You don't have to go back into SkySlope, into this property file, into the seller advisory. You can just shoot it out and prepare it and send out to your client as soon as you get your feedback. So that's another great feature. Again, all available within the app as well. So let's go back into SkySlope. So we've already gotten to see what the approval looks like, what some of those revisions look like. Now that we're back into SkySlope, I do want to show you again the Documents tab. So here we see all of the documents pertaining to the property file. Remember, this is where we brought in my buddy Tom's listing packet to be split and assigned. You can see the full listing packet in its entirety still there. It didn't get deleted or changed because we did pull out that documentation. We can see what we split from it right here. So the original still remains intact and available if we did need to send that out. So we do have those options as well. If you wanted to email any of this documentation out, you can just select from the list. You can email out or you can send out for digital signature right here as well. So several features on this page. Again, when you send out an email, what you're doing is creating that or opening up a communication line with your client that will automatically be logged into SkySlope. And you can find that stored communication right underneath our next tab, which is the log tab. So as an agent, it is our job to log communication with our client from start to finish to remain compliant. We know this can be pretty tedious, but we also know it is very important. So whatever you do in SkySlope is recorded. So what you see here is already logged activity. Think of this as your digital footprint created by every step you've taken within SkySlope for this property. So from the moment you created the listing to when you added contact information to when you forwarded in the listing packet, all of that information is here, and if ever needed, you can always print the communication log out. So that's always great for compliance purposes. So next, we do have our tasks. I won't be diving in, but this is just an area where you can create your own to-do list for this specific property. You can import in pre-generated lists that you like to reference for all of your properties if you'd like putting up a sign or sending out a thank you note. So just another tool here to help keep you organized, keep you on that road to success. So next, so here we've already covered how to create a listing from within Manage Listings. We're going to move this in this direction across our dashboard items. So we created our listing. Next, within Manage Listings, you can see all of your current listings here. However many pages you have, you're able to see all of your active listings. So where do we go from here? If one of your listings happens to fall through, you can always select this button, withdrawing your listing. It'll then move that property file into this middle section titled Canceled Listings Pending Approval. So you can submit those files here, and then it'll be up to your brokerage to review those documents and approve the cancellation. If you're wanting to convert a listing to a sale, you can select this other button here, which accepts the contract and turns this listing into a transaction. So that leads us right to our next dashboard item, which is our transactions. So I just want to note here, before we jump into what a transaction looks like, quick recap on your progress so far. We've worked with a seller within our listing section, and now we're going to focus on working with a buyer within our transaction sections here. So because creating a transaction is essentially taking the same steps as creating a listing, we're just going to go ahead and jump into an active file within our managed transactions here. So here again, we're able to review all of our current transactions, just like within your listings. You will still have the opportunity to utilize this button and cancel the transaction if it does happen to fall through, moving it to this middle section, again, pending your brokerage's approval. So we'll go ahead and jump into an active file. So here we're able to see, again, a pretty similar layout to what's displayed in our listings. We have pretty familiar tabs up here with the exception that this now says transaction instead of listing. You have all of that property information. You have your contacts, your checklist, your documents, and log. Something new on this screen will be the commissions tab. And this is just where the brokerage is able to check and make sure everyone's getting paid correctly. So you do have that feature here within the transactions. Another tab that we haven't seen is going to be this transaction summary. And I do like to show this real quick. It'll download to your desktop. You can then open up. It's usually a 1 to 2 page PDF. It's a cover sheet for a title company or ESCO submission that just has all of the property file details on it. So you do have the option to save that to your desktop as well. All right, so we'll go back to our dashboard. Again, we're just going to be making our way through. So some of our dashboard items are pretty straightforward just to help you navigate through SkySlope so you don't have to dig too far to find what you're looking for. So here with an incomplete checklist, again, pretty straightforward. This is where any of your checklists that are missing a document or two are going to be displayed. So this saves you the hassle of searching through, combing through all of your listings and transactions to find those properties that you're still working on. They'll be housed right here in incomplete checklist. Here within canceled contracts, this is where your canceled or dead files will be listed. So you can submit, again, your cancellation for transactions or withdrawing for listings. And once your brokerage approves that cancellation, they'll be brought right here into canceled contracts. So again, just another house for specific files. Next, we have our Access Archives. So we will be jumping in here. So here within the Access Archives will be all of your closed deals. You can think of this as your digital filing cabinet, easily accessible with unlimited storage and the capability to download any files from within the archives. So I like to use this as a great example. When a client requests their HUD for tax purposes, you can just jump in here, utilize this drop-down, and download either all of the documents within this property file or just the checklist documents, and then you can send that over to them. So again, these are all closed deals, so you can still pull information out of. So next, we have our tasks and reminders. You do have the ability to keep yourself productive and on track with the convenient option of syncing anything you list here within tasks and reminders to your iCal, Outlook, or Google Calendar. So if you like to set up those specific alarms or reminders to do something for a specific property, you can list that here and sync that to your calendar. So you don't have to be logged into SkySlope to get that reminder. Next, we have our working docs. So jumping in, first thing we see is our personal docs. So this will only be viewable and accessible to you. So you can think of this as your personal private SkySlope Dropbox. If you have any stray disclosures that don't quite have a property file, you can create that information here, store it all here within your personal docs. Once that property file is ready, you can always grab them and assign them to the property file. You also have some other features, emailing out or sending out for digital signature. So I've gotten questions about this before, like can I input photos into any of these folders? Of course you can. You can input as many photos for a specific property that you may be listing as a rental, and you know that you'll need to, at the end of the lease, post those up again. You can always store those here, grab them and send them out, or assign them to the property file once it does get rented. So you do have those options to store. Again, unlimited storage throughout the working docs. So next we have our office docs. So this area is composed of documents your brokerage has added in here as either required or simply available for everyone to utilize. So your admin team can upload documents here that will then become available to everyone in the brokerage. So you can always pull whatever documentation you need for a specific property you're working on, send out for digital signature, or assign to a property file. So you can pull any of these. This is a great library throughout the brokerage available. Lastly, for our Zip Forms users, You do have zip forms integrated throughout the platform if it does apply to you. If you're not using zip forms, this tab won't even be available. It won't be shown. But for those of you that are, once you initially log into SkySlope, you'll be prompted to enter in your zip form credentials. And by entering your login just once, you won't have to provide those credentials again. So it'll be saved within SkySlope. So every time you log into SkySlope, you're automatically logged into zip forms as well. So again, this is where that zip forms integration will be accessible. You'll have the ability to not only see your current transactions here on the left-hand side. So once you select that, you'll see the forms from within that transaction, but you can also add forms from within the zip forms library that you're subscribed to. Again, mine is just a demo account, so yours will look a little different. You can always select the forms needed and add them right into that transaction. What's also great is you can select any of these, again, assign to a property file or send out via digital signature. I do also like to show this cool little feature. Selecting any of these, instead of taking you to another window, it'll just open up that document right here and allow you to fill it out from within SkySlope. Once you save, it saves in SkySlope and also in your zip forms account, so you don't need to go back and forth anymore. It's all available right here in the platform. And you can also create new transactions as well from right here. So really great feature. Zip forms, again, available right here within the working docs. Lastly, we'll be diving into DigiSign. This is our digital signature tool, fully integrated throughout the platform, so no more time spent downloading, scanning, and gathering those documents. To start, you can always select this button here, where you're creating a new envelope. It's going to take you to this screen as soon as it loads, where you can either select a specific property file that you're working with and you're wanting to prepare a document and send out for that property file. Or if you're not working on a specific property file, but you're still wanting to send something out, you can always select no property here. So we'll go ahead and use that option. Actually, let's choose one from the list. All right. So as soon as that loads, here we are. So we can see all of the documentation from that property file. We can just select which one we're wanting to prepare and send out. So we can see that now on the right-hand side. If you selected several, you'll see all of those cross over as well, but we're going to keep it simple and just have one document. So from here, you can always select next and manually prepare your document. Otherwise, you can choose a template. So you do have to go through the process at least once to create a template. And then you can apply it to every document after that point to where it applies. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a template. Here we are, our agency agreement. We'll apply that. So we can see it's already added there. We're going to move on to our next screen. Now here we're able to choose who we're wanting to send this to. Who are we asking to receive a signature or an initial from? So you can always select from what's shown here. You have your seller, so then you can see who's being requested for signature on the right-hand side. You have myself, and then you have Tom. If you needed to add any other recipients, you can just create new recipient, enter in their contact info, their email, what their role is. Is this the agent on the other side? Is this the attorney? Who are we requesting a signature from, and what is their role? And whether they need to provide a signature at all, or if they just need a copy. So you can select all of that here as well. You can also, on the right-hand side, select a signer group. So right now we have it to where the document's going to be sent out to both myself and to Tom, and we can sign at our leisure. If we added a signer group, we can drag and drop names into a specific order. Oh, we need to add. But you need an email address to do that. So we'll go ahead, drag and drop if it will allow me. There we go. So now we see Tom will receive the document first. Once he has signed, then it'll be sent out to me. Then I can provide my signature and everything's done. The completed document will go back into the property file in the Documents tab. So we're going to keep this simple and just leave it the recipient as myself, and we'll move on to our next step. So here we're able to review the document itself. You can scroll through. We can see our template has been attached on our date. Scrolling through, scrolling through. We also have our signature line down here. So just because you've applied a template doesn't mean that you can't add anything else to the document. Say you want to add an initial line at the bottom of page 2. You can move this around wherever needed. You can resize as well. And again, you can just grab that initial tool from the toolbar here. Any of these you can select and add onto the document with a single click. If you didn't mean to or you need to revise that, you can definitely remove those as well. And I always like to show with the initial or signature lines, you can utilize this drop down. Had you had several recipients, you use the drop down and select who you're requesting an initial from the drop down list. So since it's just me, I'm the only one listed here. So we'll go ahead, everything looks good. We'll go ahead and send this out. So just like any email that you send out, it's going to ask for a subject line. So we'll just send out, please sign, it's very important, and send it out. So that would complete your step in getting the documentation out. SkySlope recognizes that I'm sending this to myself, so it's giving me the option to sign. So I'm going to go ahead and select sign now, just so we can see the perspective on the client side. What are they seeing on their end? So first things first, they'll have to select their signature and initial style. Go ahead and select one, agree to use that within the document. We see our dates already populated there. And so now instead of having to scroll through the document and potentially miss some of the signature or initial lines, I can just select start. It'll scroll through the document for me, take me to my first request here, single click applies the initial, and then it takes me down to the next. So this doesn't eliminate your client from being able to review. It just makes it easier for them to provide their initial or signature where requested. So again, single click applies the signature and we're done. So here, your client will then submit, letting them know everything's finished. You will then receive that documentation within your completed tab within DigiSign. You can see that here. What's great from here, we did talk about creating templates. If you really liked how you prepared that document, you can just select this little page button at the very end here where it says create a template. And you'll then save that and be able to apply it. You can actually share it with other agents or throughout the brokerage as well. So once someone has gone through a lengthy document and prepared that for you, it'd be really nice if they'd share that with everyone else. You can definitely do that. I do also like to point out from within DigiSign, this Sent tab. So these are all documents that have been sent out but have not been completed on your client's end. So this is, there are a few really great tools to look at from within the Sent tab. Again, you can create your template. We already know how to do that. You can edit or resend what you've prepared. And I like to use the example, if your client doesn't recognize the email, they don't know what they're looking at, and they just send that email to the trash, you can always resend it over to them. You don't have to prepare another document. You can just select this little wrench here. Another great feature is this history button. A lot of times you're not sure if your client's even viewed the documentation yet. You've sent it out. It's been a week. You've let them know that you've sent it out. They may have deleted it. They may have opened it. You're not sure. You go right into the history button, and you can actually check when exactly you sent it out and whether they've opened or viewed the document at all. So you can check all of that entire status here within the history button. So that completes all of our dashboard items. We've covered everything within the platform. So I do want to do a quick recap before we end our session. So here we are. Again, support. This is going to be your greatest resource. Available again 24/7. Reach out to them or browse the numerous tutorials available within the support center. They are tech experts, so really utilize them whenever you need help. Mobile, you have the ability to access SkySlope on any device. So no matter where you are, you can always stay on top of your work, get that push notification to let you know when your files have been reviewed, all that good stuff through the mobile app. Review, SkySlope is a paperless platform, so we eliminate the wait time from getting paperwork completed, submitted, and reviewed, making it that much quicker for you to get paid. Again, the very convenient zip forms integration. For those that are using zip forms, this allows you to access, edit, create, and add files all within SkySlope. You don't ever have to leave the platform to utilize your zip forms account. And then finally, DigiSign, our amazing e-signature tool, allowing you to prepare, send, and sign documents available throughout the platform for ease and efficiency. So that does complete our training for today. Again, if we didn't happen to get to all of your questions, we will be reaching out via email just to make sure we get all of those answered for you and you're comfortable in the platform. Well, great job, everyone. Thank you for joining me today, and happy sky sloping.